What's up, everybody? I'm Samantha Nahera, and this is the Bean and Chisme Show. Today is a very special episode for veterans, about veterans, by veterans, for the veterans. And it's just an honor and a privilege to be able to do this. We are a show of comedy, community, and culture. And this is one of those extra special topics near and dear to my heart. And so I have a very special guest. I have two special guests today. We're going to start with Miss Larissa Martinez. She is the executive director and founder of Circle of Arms, a local nonprofit that is dedicated to all things that support the veteran community. So welcome, Larissa.
Well, thank you so much for having me on. This is like a little bit of a girl crush kind of fabulous surprise. So thank you so much.
Yay! Do me a huge favor. Just pop that a little bit closer to you, or you can scoot up to it. Yeah.
Okay. Perfect.
You know, around here we keep it casual. We keep the cameras rolling because it keeps it real.
Right.
So thank you. First of all, thank you so much for coming and spending some time with me to just get the audience to get to know your nonprofit and who you are as a chingona. I had made a post about supporting local veterans to have an episode, and you got tagged. I was like, no, hombre, I can't ignore you. So tell me everything.
Oh, no, thank you. And I appreciate those that just quietly support and tag when needed. But yeah, so I'm born and raised native San Antonian. I'm a proud product of SAISD school district.
Ooh.
I graduated from Edison High School. So go Bears.
Okay.
And I so right after I had definitely a dysfunctional childhood. If I could say the least.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a lot. I needed some type of structure because I didn't have that at all. So most of my family was in the military, as far as all the men were. So when I made the decision to join the military, it was definitely something that everybody was like, "You're gonna join the military? Like, no way! You're too fragile, or you're too
girly,
small,
were you girly
yes.
or petite?
Yes, too small, too petite." And so I said, "Oh, I'm gonna show them." So I kind of just decided, I'm gonna join. So right after the summer I graduated high school, I enlisted and joined, and I didn't have to go very far because the basic training is right here in San Antonio. But I served 8.5 years active duty. My last base was in Travis Air Force Base in California. And then I came back home here, and it was just kind of a whole new feeling, that transition. We didn't have the transition that we do now for veterans and when I got out.
Okay.
And so it was definitely like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Like, where are the resources? Where's everybody? Where's my tribe? Or where's other veterans? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the bigger topics that I hear is transitioning into civilian life can be a complete shock to your body, mind, spirit, especially if you've been to war. Is that true?
Yeah, I would say definitely just in general serving, because if you think about it, when you go to basic training, you're being stripped of who you are identity-wise, who you are into a soldier, until the military branches into who they want you to be. And so it is like kind of stripping who you are, but also gaining a new type of sisterhood, brotherhood in the military. And then also, when you do go to war too, it's kind of like on another level, because you're with people that have got your back. They say nobody's left behind, because
right.
you need to trust who you're serving with, up to the time when you're fighting, because that's very, very sorry, I probably just kind of said that too.
No, you're fine.
No, that it's just very next level, and the bond and the brotherhood and sisterhood that active duty soldiers have is unbreakable.
Yeah, so it's to kind of like come back to the real world, and you'll all live in different states and different cities. So
right.
Make sure you stay in touch with that bond.
Right.
Those people that you have those relations. That's
right.
hard to do. I can't even keep in touch with the friends I have in San Antonio, much less,
Right. I know, being a mom, being like a student, or being, just working, all of that. So it's really hard. And also too, some people come out transitioning. We all are on automatic pilot mode, is what I say, because I was on automatic pilot mode for the 10 years after I got out, until finally things were happening in my life that I felt were out of control, And I didn't really find or realize what was going on or what was happening until you actually stop and turn off the automatic pilot and really start to deal with, okay, this all happened to me. How do I deal with it? I need to unpack it and let me heal.
Wow, I know. And so I can't even imagine what that even, I can't even begin, because I'm a very big mental health advocate,
Right.
but I haven't served in the military and I haven't even been through any of those things. So I can only imagine.
Right.
But what inspired you? So how many years did you serve? And then how,
Yes.
when you got out, what inspired you to start Circle of Arms?
So I served 8.5 years in the Air Force active duty, and then I went into the reserves for about 4.5, 5 years as a reservist, and then I just got out altogether. When I came back home, this is home for me. I went and worked for a big, Fortune 100 company. It was a really big shock, I guess you could say, from transitioning from the military into a big employer like this, because I think, again, I was just on automatic pilot. I was repressing a lot of stuff that happened in the military that was brewing. And so once, going through one bad relationship after another, not necessarily anybody's fault, but my own, right? Because I had to own and be accountable for my own healing. But also noticing, okay, some of the behavior is because of me, and then some of it is because of what happened in childhood trauma and so forth.
Sure.
So I think that once I started to unravel, just like you have one of those things that you're not supposed to mess with on your sweater or something, and you pick at it and it just starts unraveling. It's kind of how the life was for me. And at that point, I was going through a divorce. I lost my job. There were so many things. I almost became homeless because I almost lost my house. So many things started just burying me down. Just all of the, I guess you could say, everything at once just kind of overwhelmed me. And so then I started looking for resources. How do I get help? How do I fix what I need to fix? And so I started to notice there was not a whole lot of resources, and this was prior to COVID. And I did start going to the VA, and I did get help through the VA healthcare system. It is very, very hard to navigate sometimes.
I've heard that
but
the VA is
you just
not
got to
easy.
be consistent and be your own advocate. That's the most important thing. Be your own advocate, and don't think that anybody is going to be your advocate. So you have to educate yourself and advocate. So just kind of going on that journey, my husband's also our Army veteran. Okay. And so we were both kind of navigating this journey together, each in our own different ways, but together. And so I decided, I said, you know what, I need to create an organization that, promotes mental health awareness through education, advocacy, and breaking stigma, primarily among veterans, women, and minority communities. And the reason for those three specific is because I feel that those three audiences, or those three, socioeconomic groups, have a harder time asking for help.
Absolutely.
And it's either how we were raised,
right? It's a cultural thing,
or what we were told. Especially in the military too. A lot of it was, if you seek help, you're gonna, it's gonna be on your record, or just suck it up. You're a Marine, or you're a soldier. Just
quipping little baby,
right? Yeah. Or they say quit being a bitch.
Oh, is that how they say it? Quipping little bitch.
Yeah, or something.
Rude.
So I'm like, hey, that's actually a good thing. Right? That's a powerful thing. No, so I think it was just, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel. We really just wanted to have resources. And if we can't give them to you, we know somebody who can.
Yes. I think so many people have a heart where they want to give, but they just don't take action, or they just, just put it on the back burner. And like you said, they're an autopilot. But you and your husband came together and actually started this,
right,
and put it into action. So you're a 501c3 now.
Yes.
And so
we were established in 2019.
Okay.
And that's why I said right before COVID.
Oh my gosh.
So it took us a little while to get, because when we got established in 2019 and became a nonprofit, COVID happened. So our whole mission, not that we weren't focused on it, but we were focused with COVID. So during the time, everybody was so at home and like learning a new hobby and doing stuff, we were at boots on the ground out delivering essential items and food to veterans, disabled individuals, families that couldn't get out. So we were there delivering food, delivering essential items like toilet paper, toothpaste, all that through pretty much the whole year.
So timing is everything. Maybe it was like God's way of being like, hey girl, we need you boots on the ground, literally.
Yeah, exactly.
COVID was perfect for launching the organization to be of service and helping others. So tell me, as far as programming and what you guys offer so our audience can know.
Sure, definitely. So one of our biggest programs is our COA Peers program. And that is ran by my husband. He's the program manager. But what we do essentially is we offer a door-through-door service where we provide transportation and a peer. So it's like two-sided. So not only just a transportation to an appointment, but we offer a peer to go with them. And these are all for sedation appointments. So we're talking preventative health. Okay. So cataract surgeries, endoscopies, colonoscopies, anything where you're going to have sedation. It could be a pain management. It could be even be a mental health appointment where they do have some sedation or some type of treatment where they need somebody to drive.
What about a tooth?
Yeah, tooth. Yeah,
like a crown or
what
is it called? A root canal.
A root canal. Yeah, we've done. We've done dental. We've done cataract surgery. Anything where because what happens is we've been filling this gap for the last almost 4 years now. We've started seeing where, especially our older veterans, we're not scheduling those appointments for their preventative health because they didn't have anybody to take them and stay there, because the doctors specifically tell them you can't take Uber, you can't take Lyft. Even the VA and other transportation companies, they're there to do their job, which is door to curb, get you there, not to specifically tailor niche the service for an individual who doesn't have a big net of community support, or they don't want to ask. Or for our older seniors, you can see that their circle is getting smaller and smaller.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, people take that for granted. They assume because we have big family and friend networks, you know,
Right.
but other people, there's plenty of people who live alone.
Exactly.
Or they're just older and their kids don't live in the state. I mean, there's all kinds of reasons.
All kinds.
Why people are alone. So that's amazing. And besides what was it? Something to peer? What did you call it?
COA Peers program.
Got it.
We offer that, and then right now we've been helping with the furloughed employees. They've been helping do our rides, and then they get the donation so they can have some type of monetary kind of supplement during this time. But so that's one of our biggest programs, like I said. And then we also offer affordable housing options. We have a partnership with Evolution. She's gonna get mad at me because I missed her name. Evolution Solutions, and we partnered together to offer a co-shared living. And so I guess the idea has been out there for a while, but I guess more so kind of tailoring it to temporary and long-term, short stays, long terms. I guess you could say like Airbnb, but not the price of Airbnb. So you walk into these, you should say they look like bougie on a budget because they're really nice. You look like you're walking into an Airbnb, but each person has their own room, their own, keypad with their own code to get in and out, but they share like the living, kitchen, laundry, and outdoor space. So instead of like $300 or $400 to stay 2 nights, you're staying at possibly as low as $140 for a week.
Got it.
And then if you need this long term, let's just say for the month, you're looking at $800 a month. And some people, and it's not for everybody, but some people are starting to go more so with this type of housing option because first it's affordable.
Yeah.
All utilities are included. They don't have to. There's a cleaning and like house cleaning. Of course, you have to take care of your own stuff. We're not nobody's mom and that. But it's a different type of option, and that's what we really wanted to bring, especially for veterans transitioning either out of the military. Maybe they're waiting to have a home built. Or maybe they're waiting, maybe they're here training and they want to get a big old home. And then also those transitioning from recovery and homelessness, getting back on their feet. This is a great way to do that.
I love it. So you use the phrase fill the gaps, because yes, there's the VA, and then yes, there's the military and all those things. But like you said, coming out, there's so many different issues that you guys can't even predict are going to happen, and various, everybody's life is so different. Now it's really expensive out here. And so the veterans that come out, it doesn't always look like triple paycheck. They're not all triple paycheck people.
No, exactly. Because they all get out at certain times. Some retired, of course, and then some don't. And just having to battle that challenge of, getting their benefits and so forth. It's a process, and it's not just a quick turnaround time. Anything with the government, it's never going to be, unless you owe them money.
Oh, they're real quick. Como que furlough. They're checking out the taxes real quick.
Exactly.
They know how to figure that out.
Exactly. And so, so we do that affordable housing options. And then we also are starting a partnership, hopefully, with the San Antonio Food Bank. I just had a meeting with them last week. I know. And so I'm really hoping that we can kind of find a way to really work and start offering more food options. And then we do just other things. We're partnered with different counseling and therapists to help fill those gaps in between VA appointments or for mental health if they need somebody. But we're also another option too if they don't want to see anybody within the VA healthcare system. We have we're also very 420 kind of friendly, holistic kind of options, because at the end of the day, everybody has their own healing journey, and I'm not going to judge anybody who's tried everything and it doesn't work.
That's right.
Out, hiking, knitting, boxing, working out. There's so many different options. And some people don't want to take medication and be, impacted. So taking something more holistic, is something that we're definitely exploring more and trying to create more partnerships.
Okay, good to know.
Yes,
because I got connects. I can throw out to my...
Yes, perfect.
But no, is there anything else you all offer that you'd like the audience to know?
We can do some. We just kind of have all these different types of events. Sometimes we have mainly every June, because it is in Texas. They have recognized as Women Veterans Day, and again, we're not like trying to necessarily, I guess, depict that we're like better than just a regular Veterans Day. But I think what the purpose is because female veterans have been invisible for the longest time.
Oh, for real.
They have been. And if you look at anything, it's mainly focused on male veterans.
Right.
And hey, that's well deserved to our brothers, in arms. But I think for the longest time too, it's just nobody could see like female veterans as a face of a veteran. And I think that that's important. So we have a big event that we always ask for sponsors, and we do galas and stuff like that. Something pretty big to kind of treat all the female veterans. We do retreats. We do different peer groups for our male veterans. We recently partnered with the Texas Tribal Buffalo Project. So we're doing a veterans barbecue there tomorrow. And so we're always looking again to see, how we can just as a community help each other. But yeah, so something's always new on the, horizon when it comes to us. Anytime I see if there's a gap that's needed, we look to try to fill that.
I love it. Well, what can we do to support you? Do you guys need volunteers, donations? I'm sure year round.
Right. I think that we obviously, we're always grateful for donations. One thing we try to implement in our organization is, not having all the red tape for people. I know in other areas, sometimes you can wait 3 or 4 months just try to get some type of benefit. And we want to be able to, we want to stay small because of that. Like, I feel like we kind of lose that the bigger we grow. Not that we don't want to grow, because we all want to grow. That's important. But it's to not lose that, that same mentality why we first started. Yes. I don't want to have somebody a veteran or senior or a woman have to go through all this red tape just to get a benefit, because they need it now, not 4 2 months from now.
Right.
And
exactly.
And so that's by keeping donations to us and then volunteers, that helps us. And even if they want to be a part of our organization, we're bringing back our hiking outdoor events. And so we just brought on a holistic wellness coordinator. And so she's going to be doing some yoga and some more outdoor hikes again. Because we started that too during COVID, our hiking heroes.
I love that.
And we were hiking all over the place. We had to
Staying
take
active.
we had to take a break after my husband had spinal surgery 2 years ago.
Okay.
But we're trying to bring it back because that's where I met a lot of people. You wouldn't think it, but I met a lot of the Bexar County judges through our Hiking Heroes program.
Wow.
Just a lot of different people that were kind of ready to come out and get out and be active again. So,
wow.
Yeah.
One of the cool things I wanted to point out about you that I like back to what you were saying is on y'all's Facebook page the other day, you had put like, hey, we've got a single mom veteran who needs an AC. Her AC's out. Can somebody help?
Right.
And I think that's what you're trying to say is like bridge the gap. There are things that our veterans need immediately
Right.
that you cannot go through a government system to get. Like,
Right,
This
exactly.
homegirl just needs groceries and an AC and a bill covered. Like, can we
Right,
help this person?
exactly.
And you're one of those heroes that
Yes.
just comes in and like tries to find help. I love it.
Exactly. Yes, definitely. You can see that on the mom groups too. You see that somebody needs something for their child or needs food. All the moms step in, right? It's just kind of something that we haven't, as females, nurturing about us that we don't want to see anybody,
Yeah. Why would
down on
we,
their luck.
Yeah. Nobody left behind. Nobody left behind. Well, thank you so much again. And again, thank you for your service. Thank you to you and your husband for everything you guys are doing. I love to hear about these kind of stories where there's hometown heroes building their own communities and doing something about it. You're not just sitting on the sidelines talking about it. You made a whole ass nonprofit, girl, and here you are, changing lives. Any last words or messages you would like to send to our audience? You can look right here at that
Okay. No, just if you're struggling with mental health on any platform, if you're the start at your journey or in the middle of your journey, or if you're healing, if you're healed, you just want an organization to be a part of, feel free to reach out to me. I don't know, give you my email and so forth later.
How do we find you?
I'm on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Myself, I'm on LinkedIn myself personally, just Larissa Cyril Martinez. And then, so just feel free to reach out. We are always open to just getting volunteers. If you just need to talk, whatever way, we're here. And I feel like I am a peer because I have experienced also in a lot of things that, I could help kind of navigate and find resources. If we're not the ones that can provide it to you, then we'll find somebody for sure that will be able to assist you.
Awesome. Okay, you guys. Thank you so much. Again, follow Circle of Arms on all platforms. Yes. And of course, reach out to Ms. Larissa if you need any support. And we will be back right after this with the director of a new documentary called American Sons. All right, you guys, we are back with the next segment here in our Veterans Day special episode. And I am here with a good friend of mine, Mr. Andrew J. Gonzales, who is the director of a documentary called American Sons. And this is a very, very special documentary because it's about a hometown boy, hometown soldier who passed away. He's a soldier who served in Afghanistan. And this documentary was made with todo corazón and really sheds light on a lot of topics and themes that veterans face in today's world. So welcome, Andrew.
Thank you for having me.
You know what? It's an honor to have you here on this side. Because
right.
I was on your podcast.
You were on my podcast.
I know. And
You
here
graced
you are.
me with my 5 episodes, but I'm coming back.
You know what?
But I appreciate you
have to.
doing that.
You're doing way bigger things right now, by the way.
Yeah.
Not that wasn't
I haven't
important.
had time. I want to transition to that world. One of the things was my reason for starting that podcast was one, I needed to get better at speaking. And I needed to get better about being in front of the camera. Because I felt that if I'm going to ask people to be in front of the camera and to be authentic and be themselves, then I have to do it. I have to lead the way.
Ooh, I like that way of thinking.
I got to put my money where my mouth is. And, because I get it, what people go through when they get in front of the camera and maybe they don't want to.
That's hard.
It's
not
very
as
difficult.
easy as it looks sometimes.
No, it's not. But you get used to it, you practice.
Yeah.
And I'm appreciative of that people give their time and are vulnerable in front of camera because we're doing requires vulnerability. And so I had to prove that I could also be vulnerable. So, let's talk about whatever you think is being in Chisme worthy.
Let's go. Okay. And also, I do have to mention this. I've known Andrew for a very long time. Do you remember, we're going back personally, he is a local filmmaker and he's been a filmmaker for many years. So we've worked together as colleagues, and also Laura Varela, who's a producer on his documentary. And there was a video we did for a land bridge. Remember, Ava was a baby, my daughter. She was like not even 2, just like.
She was in the final scene.
Yeah. Like that's
looking at what could have been.
She's 12.
Oh, wow. Well, the land bridge is 12, almost.
Yeah, almost 12. At least 10.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Well, time does fly.
We go back. I'm just saying. So it's amazing to interview my colleague on the other side of the camera and of the other side of the chair, because now you're a part of the story of being a filmmaker who is just making waves with this documentary and potentially on the Oscar nomination list. Correct?
That's correct. We are vying for an Oscar right now. We are in the Oscar portal. And so Oscar doc voters can vote for us. They can go and log in to all the films that are available for the Academy Awards for 2026. And we are there. And we're at the top of the list with an A, American Sons.
You see, and rightfully so. I know you've been a filmmaker for many years. How does it feel to finally, you're in the circuit, right? You're in the film festival circuit. You guys are winning awards. Finally had the hometown premiere of this documentary. How does it feel?
Gratifying. So gratifying.
So
I feel like I've arrived in many ways, and I'm so grateful because it's been such a long journey to get here, and people don't see what you go through. This project was 8 years, but I've been spending 20 plus years trying to, be here, trying to get to this level and not knowing what it took to get that. But it's like the commitment of this project and just being, like you were saying before we started talking, it's like the authenticity. You feel like that's what's making you the connections, but it's not just that. You probably always had the authenticity. It's the practice. People think
Putting
that
in the work.
Exactly. People think that you're just an overnight success, and I'm like, yeah, it only took 10 years to become overnight success.
That's
If
right.
you count all the way back, it's like it only took my entire life to become an overnight success.
Very
but
true.
people just see like you're nowhere, and then all of a sudden you're somewhere, and they think that you're just like, I don't know, riding a lucky wave that happened to you. But if they knew what really happened, the grind, just in that event last night alone, the grind that it took to set that up, just to present, for people to have a great time. It requires a lot of effort, and so I'm incredibly gratified.
Yeah.
I feel proud of myself, which is a big thing, which I'm open right now. I want to talk about mental health, and I know we've talked about that before.
Yes.
We talked about that on my show. I feel proud of myself for maybe the first time in my life.
Why did that make my heart just so happy?
Because you know what it takes.
Gosh, yeah. But to be able to say that out loud and really mean it and believe
Exactly.
it is different.
When we grow up, people telling like, don't talk about yourself. Like, what are you, conceited? I remember that was a word that you would hear. Conceited. Remember that word? Now, what is the word people are using? I'm not sure. Ego.
Full of
Everybody's saying
themselves or whatever.
ego. And it's like everybody has an ego.
Ego.
Like, understand what ego means. First of all, it's just your personality.
Correct.
I mean, that's what your ego is. And so they say, conceited, you talk about yourself. So, there was a long time in my life where I didn't feel that I was measuring up to my potential. And I was trying so hard at so many things, and I just feel like I wasn't achieving to the level that I had my aspirations to. But it's that work ethic. It's the daily grind. It's the never giving up. And now that we're here, like South by Southwest, when we had that achievement, it was like, core part of life unlocked.
Where you were just like, oh my gosh. And remind
Yeah.
our audience of exactly what you won at South by this year.
So we didn't win at South by. We were featured at South by. So
Okay.
so it's a win just to
Heck
get
yeah.
in. It's like the biggest film festival in the world, and just to get in there, it shows that you're on a level that a lot of other filmmakers aspire to.
Okay.
And so the day before South by started, there was something called the Filmmaker Brunch, which one of our producers, Elizabeth Avellan, and Robert Rodriguez, they own Troublemaker Studios in Austin, and they hosted the Filmmaker Brunch, and all the filmmakers from South by were there, actors and everybody. There was a lot of people that I recognized from some of my favorite shows, which was a really cool experience.
Wow.
But to be there in that class, 2025 South by Southwest filmmakers, that was just like on another level. To be, in the studio where they still have the Spy Kids stuff set up, all, like from the original Spy Kids, from all the Spy Kids movies, really, in the green screen room. And that's where the party was. And with amazing food and just with that South by Southwest energy, which is the best energy really in the world. If you love film and music, it's the best place to be. So at that brunch, Elizabeth spoke, Richard Linklater spoke, and Robert spoke. And, if you don't know Richard Linklater, he's also a famous filmmaker. Dazed and Confused is what put him on the map. School of Rock, some really incredible movies, some that you wouldn't even know he did. I mean, he's so prolific of a filmmaker. He came out and he said, this is a guy we look up to, and they're late in their career. They launched the movie thing. Austin
scene,
didn't
right?
exist
before
these guys. And he said, you all have made it.
If he said that?
Exactly.
Holy moly.
You all have made it. And when I heard that, I said, yeah, we did. And it was just cool to be there. Lauda was there, and we knew people. We were having fun. We were having a ball. We were eating, drinking, and we hadn't even got to our screening, which was the next day.
Oh my gosh!
And that was just a wonderful experience. And then we had our after party there at Troublemaker as well, and that was just on another level.
So you're saying next year I might be able to sneak in there? I'll be a waitress of the food. I just want to be in the room.
No, of course. Well, I don't know what's happening next year, but if it's anything like this year, let's do this.
That's incredible. Well, congratulations to even be in this point in your career. It's extreme. You know how many people gave up or wanted to give up and did? I mean, you kept going when. I also wanted to share with everybody that producing a show, even my show, is extremely difficult to keep funded and to keep going. Documentaries, even more so.
Even more so.
To find the money to get this thing. And filmmaking isn't cheap if you want to do it the right way. It's time, it's money, it's coordination and travel, and especially documentary. How many places do you feel like you traveled for this documentary?
Probably like 8. We went all over the country. But you're right about the fundraising. It's really challenging. And now, because of the defunding of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which funds PBS,
right,
it's even harder. Like all of the funding has been pulled.
So how did
those areas? We were the last class of documentary filmmakers to come through PBS. Well, so far.
Okay.
But as of now,
we don't know.
We're the last class of, and this is like long-standing, documentary production. Documentary filmmaking, PBS, everybody knows that.
Right.
They're known
for that. Yep.
I feel incredibly grateful because we are like the most well-funded project that some of our partners that have been in the game for 50 years have ever seen. And so hearing that, I'm a little bit of a newbie to this world. Like I've always been an independent producer and I've never really like learned or followed the rules of anything. I just did my own thing. Right. And so hearing this from people who've been around the game for a long time is just mind-blowing. And without something like PBS, shout out to our partners and our gracious funders, Latino Public Broadcasting, Black Public Media, and California Humanities, as well as Bexar County and City of San Antonio, those are all the funders
and they give you these funds and you just keep going, filming, editing.
Exactly.
Editing, I couldn't, what did you say, how many hours?
Probably like 3 years of editing.
Of film. And
about 150 hours of filming. I filmed 150 hours at least. Yeah, just like you're talking about days of filming in a row. But without those funders, there's no way a film like this would get made. Like something that requires this long to make about a subject like this.
Right.
Like this isn't a Netflix documentary. This isn't like, it has shock and awe, but it's not in the way that they format their films to be created. So without PBS, this wouldn't have existed. Wow. And so one of these other mind-blowing things that happened this year, we played the Man's Chinese Theater in Hollywood.
Gosh.
All right, at the La Leaf Film Festival. Incredible experience. Shout out to La Leaf. They know how to throw a party. My favorite film festival this year by far. And they put us up at the Hollywood Roosevelt, and I really felt like somebody.
Dude.
And we're in the pool and just every day and hanging. It's palm trees. Like you're like Hollywood as in this world, as you know, that's what we aspired to do. We were like, I'm going to go to Hollywood, and then we're going to be at parties, and we're going to be showing our films, or we're going to be playing music, and we were doing it. So for 5 days, I was there living that, and it was mind blowing.
Wow!
One of the things that happened, Samantha, is Edward James Olmos. He's one of our funders in a way because he created Latino Public Broadcasting.
I didn't know.
Well, he didn't create it. He's one of the he was one of the
Founders?
co-founders of it. Yeah.
I didn't know
And correct
that.
me if I'm wrong the way I'm saying that, but he was in the original manifestation of that.
Okay.
So that he could he wanted to showcase Latin voices that were, underheard,
Wow.
underrepresented.
And so you met him, obviously.
Yeah, he was there. Well, he's also co-founder of La Leaf. Right? So we knew that. And Laura and Fernando, they've worked with him. Shout out to my producers, Laura and Fernando.
Yes.
They've worked with him on Selena. As you know, Selena is the project that everybody knows that came out of San Antonio.
A lot of
Rightfully so.
film people.
Rightfully
yeah,
so.
worked on
You shouldn't be
Selena.
producing Selena anywhere else.
Right.
Right? So we knew Edward was going to be there, and we just kind of like hung around trying to cross paths. And I crossed paths with him at the first party. And I just kind of talked with him. He didn't know who I was. And then later, he ran into Laura, and then he knew what project ours. I assume he'd seen it or heard something about it because he's part of the organization that funded us.
Okay.
And then it was like every party we run into him, and it was all about getting him to the show. Like, you have to come to the show, And once Fernando got there the day before the show, he knew Fernando a little bit more because Fernando was his driver when he was on Selena. So he spent time with him, and Edward and Abe Quintanilla and Fernando, they went fishing one day. So I'm sure they had a core experience,
What is it, son?
Yeah, at least for Fernando.
Gusti de la caca. I have to
Exactly.
say that.
And
I
so
always
he
hear
had
his voice.
he had a photo of that, and he had it on his phone. So by the time we went to the
Okay.
party,
So he was ready
He was
to-
showing him. He was, and then
Remember?
at that point, it was like we were all family, like in the room. And so then he came to the show. I know this is a long story, but I know then he came to the show, and a lot of people come to our film and they don't know what to expect.
Right.
They
I
have
didn't.
no idea
I
what
didn't.
they're about to see.
I was one of those.
And I'm sure you can contest, and we'll talk about this more.
Yeah.
But when you come out of seeing our film, you have your mind blown. I mean, the content is mind blowing, and I'm very proud of what we've put together. So I'm ready and willing to show it to anybody who's willing to give us the time. And so he came, and then he stayed for the whole Q&A and everything. And then we went back on the red carpet. They had a huge red carpet, the whole, I don't know
Thing
how
was
many,
probably out of
20,
control.
30 feet of a step and repeat, that kind of thing. And he
The real
came out,
kinds.
exactly. And he came out with us, and he hung out with us for 20, 30 minutes afterwards and talked to, all of our guys that were with us and our team. And he told me that, I don't remember exactly, because when somebody, someone famous especially tells you something like this, you're like a little bit taken back. But he's like, this is the reason that we created Latino Public Broadcast. The reason we created La Leaf is to screen films like this, right? And so that was the moment where I realized the importance of PBS. In that moment is because you're not going to get this opportunity somewhere else. Like someone that cares about the journalistic quality of the content that you're creating,
Right.
That you're not just making things for clicks, that to make things
Right.
about real life, it takes time, and you have to have that time to develop, and it needs the community to step in and fund these stories to educate people on reality, because Hollywood is not reality.
Mic drop. Can you repeat that? I'm gonna clip this and put it as a soundbite for sure. No, but you're right. That's amazing. That's incredible. And man, what a blessing to and you really manifested all these major steps. Did it feel, because you and I are we believe in manifestation
That's
and,
right.
and that the universe works for all good things to come together
right.
exactly as planned. And so how did it feel? Were you oh, I was here before. And of course what do we call it when you jump time?
Yeah, you're jumping timelines.
What is it called? What am I trying
Well,
to
you're vibrating between timelines at all times. Every decision you make
Okay.
is putting you into a new reality.
So when
It's based off your thoughts.
okay, so did it feel like you time warped and was yeah, of course I'm here
Absolutely.
because I've already been here. I just needed to arrive in this moment.
I don't know if it was that I've already been here. You put yourself there in your mind, but yeah, you have to have a vision of where you're going. Otherwise, you're not going to go anywhere.
That's
You
right.
got to dial in that vision,
Exactly.
and it takes work. It takes work to dial in. I had to become the person that could achieve the thing before I achieved the thing, and that's what everyone had. That's where everyone's working backwards on this. And it's not like I just arrived at this conclusion, but it's years of trying to figure out why I'm working so hard and it's not going as fast or far as I know that I can. And it's because I'm not the person yet that can achieve those great things. And that requires discipline. It requires becoming, you know.
Are you hearing this, people? This is so good. So tell me about the movie. I didn't know, by the way, that April was JV's sister. And JV's the main character. This is his footage. He captured this on a cell phone, right? Obviously.
No, this was
This was on a
2010.
camera.
This was 2010, so that was like the early days of cell phone videos.
Okay.
And like but from what I understand is he went on 2 deployments. He went on something called a MEW, and I don't know a lot about what the MEW is, but I think you're on a ship and I don't know where you're going to, but they were in the Middle East.
Okay.
And they did one tour. And then he came back.
Okay.
And then they deployed for the big show. Like they went to Afghanistan in the heat, in the
Yeah, he
shit.
was saying 120 degrees at one point, I remember.
Yeah, they went into the shit, as they would call it,
Sorry.
And so, beep. And so,
No, we don't got to bleep here.
good.
Being
The
Chisme, you're
internet,
good.
right?
Yeah.
So, before he went, I think his mom was saying, Yolanda, shout out to Yolanda, saying, I want to see the photos. I want to see what you're doing. This is her baby boy. Like, I want to see where you're going. You were here on the west side of San Antonio, and now you're on the other side of the world. So I want to see that stuff.
Yeah.
And so before he left, he bought multiple video cameras, a camera. He went equipped. Like
He
it was
was
the real
ready.
deal. Yeah. And a lot of other people aren't doing that. That's what makes this story special, because not only did he get the gear, because as you know, you're also a filmmaker, you have to be intentional
That's right.
to get content, to get real content. You can't just have a camera and expect that you're just going to point it every now and then. And somehow
things
you're going to
happen.
get content. You have to deliberately be intentional with what you're filming and how you're feeling. And this kid was just a natural. He just knew how to document his own story. And this was before you flipped on YouTube and every single person is telling you this is my life. I'm a famous person. I was a regular person and now I'm a famous person. It's that's the world we're living in now.
Yeah, for real.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at us. It was
I know. We
we're
have to
regular
record everything
people,
we're
and
doing.
we had to decide we were famous people before, and
That's
it's
right, yeah.
that's the manifestation thing. But he had the intention before that. Before there were other people showing you, how to flip the thing around and film yourself and talk and then talk and
Before selfie mode.
before selfie mode. Exactly.
It's
harder to do it that way.
something. Yeah, it is. And he says something at the very beginning of his own manifestation. And he says, hey, guys, I'm recording for the documentary, right?
Yeah,
he mentions
exactly.
it. And you're like, oh, my God, it just become a documentary.
It just became a documentary,
So April, what is her last name, by the way? I only know her.
Villarreal Rodriguez.
Okay, I didn't know
Yeah.
if she was Villarreal. Okay.
Yeah.
April.
Well, Villarreal is her maiden name.
That's right. Okay. So April Villarreal Rodriguez is his sister, a San Antonio local. This family is from San Antonio, the west side, you guys. And April had this footage. Not Sam with her phone on. April has this footage from her brother, her late brother, fallen soldier, and gives it to Laura Varela, the producer, and
right.
says, what do I do with this? I think you're a professional. Can you? Did they know each other?
I think she just looked her up and found her. I think she just
Okay.
Googled her, and Laura was on the scene at the time.
Okay.
So she was in the circuit.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so if you're typing in, I'm not sure, you
Back
have
then.
to ask them, but if you're typing in San Antonio filmmaker, whatever, but the way April tells the story when, we're doing the Q&As is that she was looking for somebody with a personality like JV's, very outspoken, very,
He was
aware,
funny.
Hilarious,
Funny.
very aware of themselves, aware of what they were doing. I can't say that about Laura. Laura is a documentary filmmaker. That's who she is. That's her world.
Right.
And so she's true to that. And for whatever reason, that drew April in. And like I said, she was on the circuit at the time doing a veterans film.
Oh, that's right.
Right. Doing
That's
a veterans
right.
film about the healing process. And so I don't think April really, in her mind understood what she was getting into, right? So she's just thinking we have this footage. Obviously, there's something special about it. There's undeniably special about it when you see it. But also, you just believe your brother's story has to be told. So she sought Laura, found her. I'm not really sure, how that played out.
Relationship happened,
But, gave her the footage. And then I met Laura in 2013, 14. We were all at Geekdom. I'm sure you were at Geekdom at some point.
That's how I met her through you.
I
or
saw you
either
at
met
Geekdom one
you
time.
through
That's how I
her.
first saw you. You were at Geekdom.
Oh,
You were in
okay.
there with Maldonado and somebody else, maybe Paul Michael, filming something.
Oh
there. And I just happened I saw people with cameras and I'm like, okay, what's going on over here?
What's
Yeah, I'm like, what's happening over here? You know,
Dude,
trying to make friends in the film world. In San Antonio, as you know, few and far between who's
It's
making things.
very small community.
Here. So that's what, obviously, even if you weren't at Geekdom, you were out there filming. So, you know, that's where a lot of us cross paths. And so I remember she had a little poster on her of her movie, and it looked like a legitimate movie. And I'm like, okay, there's a legitimate filmmaker here. That's a legitimate movie poster, you know? And
It's all
so
coming to me.
somehow we got connected. I was producing the Puro Pinche show. So that was my first world in the podcast. I was producing the Puro Pinche show.
She had a show.
Yeah, we had the podcast. We had a podcast where nobody had the podcast.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. So I was producing that at Geekdom. And then
I'm trying to remember where. I'm envisioning
there was a little studio. Silver, I think it was called Silver Fox Studios at the time.
Yes.
And that was what was there. And then we all went to another building off of, I think, Elmira, kind of on St. Mary's and Elmira. I think it's St. Mary's, somewhere around
on the
there.
corner.
Yeah, that purple building. It's purple now. It's like a law office now. But we were there, and the podcast never really took off over there. It was only take off in the other place we were at. So Lauda came from that guy, Roel, who ran that studio. He put a bunch of creatives. You know, I have to be grateful for him to do that, because we all turned into doing stuff, and we all turned into doing stuff together. So ultimately, we all started working together. But at the time, we were just filling each other out, just making friends. And I was still early in San Antonio, after being gone for so long. It was the first time I had actually come back and experienced what was happening, you know, as an adult. And so that's Lauda. Everybody left Geekdom, and then Lauda came over there with us. And then we would hang out over there, and then we started doing small things together for I think we did something for the food bank or for TEDx or something like that. And then we found out about this competition through the 80/20 Foundation.
Okay, yeah.
And we won. We found out 7 days before it was due, and it was out for months. And she sent me this link saying that there was this competition. There was a $7,000 reward. And I was like, let's do this. And so in 7 days, we went out and filmed 11 interviews with all the people who were movers and shakers here in town. And we put together this thing about San Antonio at the time, City on the Rise. Remember that term? Mm-hmm. It was called Urban Revolution or something. It was about the city on the rise. And we slapped this whole thing together, and I submitted it, I think 11:57 at night, and it was due at 12.
Oh god!
And if something would have been a hang, you know how uploading things, there's always a hang up.
Especially back then.
If there would have been a hang up, then we would have been toast. But 11:57, we submitted this thing and we won.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, and that was that tenacity that I was starting to build way back then. It's being able to shoot, produce, you know, whatever needed to be done, get it done, win,
start working.
You know what I mean? So we did that, and then we did a couple other things together, and then she was just going on about feature films. She'd be like, feature films, we do a feature film, gotta do a feature film. It was she was just really into that, you know? And I was like, nah, I just kind of blow it off, because I didn't feel called to do that. I was making content and marketing videos and music videos, stuff like that. I didn't feel called to do a feature. Also, I didn't feel ready. I felt
I'm not ready
amateur.
for all of that.
Yeah, I felt like an amateur, because I didn't understand the process yet. You know, I didn't understand how to build a legitimate team, or did I have the relationships to do that at the time? And I just also didn't feel confident myself.
Yeah.
So I went and did some other things in the next couple of years that gave me extreme confidence, super extreme confidence, as both a filmmaker, but also someone who was willing to go into the fire and create content. Documentary is not the same thing as reality TV or totally content different. I mean, there are some certain creators out there that are doing documentary style stuff and putting themselves into situations to create amazing content. But that's what documentary is. You're going behind the scenes, where who wants somebody coming behind the scenes of their world? And most of the time it's controversial stuff.
Right. Most
so
people
you
are
have
private
to,
about
exactly,
those
and
things.
you gotta build up the muscle to be able to do that. You gotta build up it's filmmaking. That style of filmmaking, it just requires so many skills of just cleverness, cunningness, discreet, like people skills, like getting yourself out of trouble, you know what I mean? All these different things you have to do just to make the production like foremost on, your vision, your mission of what you're trying to achieve. So at that point, I had come back. I had just did like a European tour with a colleague of mine, and there was a lot of really intense stuff that happened. And it's like those are those battle scars you need to feel confidence. And so when I got back from that, at some point I felt like, okay, I think I'm ready for this. And so I approached Lauda. I said, okay, what are these things you're talking about? Because she said she had access to some different properties. That's what you would call like ideas. Sure. And so she showed me a couple of things, and like I just wasn't compelled by them. But then she showed me this, and I was like, my mind was blown. And I'm like, why did you wait to show me this? Why wouldn't you show me this first?
And she was just like, well, what was
I don't
her
remember.
reaction?
I mean, this was like almost 10 years ago. So I don't really remember like how that came about. I just remember seeing some of the photos that didn't even make the film because they're owned by Getty, and they cost like $500 per use on like the nonprofit rate, like per use. So we used a couple of those photos in the film, but none of them were like the ones of JV, which was the real mind blowing. Like there's photos of JV's death, like being captured in these photos.
No.
Like, the photos are insane.
How?
The photographer that you see in the film, the bald guy that's talking about walking in a straight line.
He comes out one time.
That's why he's there, because he was shooting them during this whole time.
That's right. He talks about before he died.
He was shooting, JV's whole life and death. It's crazy. And so I saw those photos, and back then you don't know what the film's going to be about. So you see those and you're like, whoa, like, and then you see the content that he's like, he created this content and he's in these photos. Like, what's going on here? Like, and then there's all these like stories about premonitions that he was having and just different stories. And then you're just like, wow, this is some magical thing. This story is magical. And I didn't know anything about any of these people or this project or April. I didn't know anything about any of this stuff.
You just saw it and was like, there's something here we have to start doing.
Incredible. Yeah. So then I think a week later, like we moved. And that's one thing I will always say about Lauda is like, when it's time to do production, we're doing it. We're like moving into it like the next day. Like we're taking action.
Okay.
And so we moved, and we had a meeting with April at, what was that place that used to be across Bakery Lorraine? It was like
another
Asian
bakery?
fusion. It was like Asian fusion
Oh,
place.
God. At the Pearl?
Yeah, at the Pearl.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways, we met there at that place, and we had a beer, we cheers, and we signed like a makeshift, contract on a memorandum on a napkin.
On a napkin?
Yeah, it was like on a napkin that we signed like a thing, or a piece of paper or something.
Better and better.
And within 30 days, we were flying to Los Angeles to film for the first time.
Who was the first soldier?
So April went with us, and it was me, Lauda, and April, and we were just basically going there to engage with these guys. And that April was always the conduit between us and these guys. And really, they did this because they're so loyal to JV and the family that they were willing to do this. And so we went and we held like a mini reunion, and just all the guys who were in the area showed up. And that scene where you see them hug in the street, that was the very first time the camera was recorded.
Whatever happened to the Asian friend? Ty?
He's still there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why my brain just went to that question.
Yeah, because
he was the
there,
first one in the street.
Yeah, that was the very first scene. So we met him first.
Wow.
And he's a beautiful guy, and it's a different person than you've ever met. And all these Marines really loved him because he's just a unique individual. And he came to the United States when he was like 9 years old from Thailand, and he served in the Marines because he just wanted to give back to the country. He was an immigrant that just wanted to give back to the country, and so he did. He served in the Marine Corps.
Hold on, I'm going to pause real quick because the light went out. I don't know what happened. Did you feel that?
I did. I felt it.
Sorry, I can pause. Thank God.
Pause. I'll take a little sip of my carbonated water.
Hold on right now.
On the Bean and Chisme show. Oh, this is fun. I love doing this stuff.
I know. We need to make this like a 2-hour special. Damn it.
This could be a 2-hour
back
special.
up.
Maybe it can be.
Did something just go back on?
Well, we'll give you the content, and whatever whatever you want to use, you can use.
Okay, so so you guys fly out to LA and you start filming, and so it's been 8 years, an 8-year journey.
It's about 7 years now, but it's kind of like in the 8th year. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like 2018 to 2025. That's like 8-year range almost when you talk about like the extended parts of the year.
The way you put it together is just so well done, and I say that as a filmmaker because from the very beginning. From the very beginning of watching the documentary, I was already crying because of the way you tell the story about mental health. It's very creative, very artistic. And you and I both know we're all big mental health advocates, and this sheds a huge light on mental health from like the medications they put you on, the gap with the VA and like all these things. And then you bring it home because there is a brotherhood and a family that comes together to celebrate one of the fallen soldiers, but all fallen soldiers and what somebody goes through when they come back from a deployment. So you just touch on all these themes and you're just like, oh my gosh, like I feel like this movie brings it home for everybody because we all know these things exist.
That's right.
But you do it in such a way that I feel like it brings it home. So what do you feel like was one of the biggest challenges of making this?
The
Besides
biggest
the
challenge
funding
of
part.
making it was just doing it, was just living it. I mean, we're talking about mental health. We can just go straight there. So one thing that I will say that a lot of people don't know when they get into this line of work, documentary filmmaking, is that it takes a lot out of you. It takes a lot out of your mental capacities and a lot out of your soul. And so if you're going around experiencing someone else's trauma, someone else's pain, and you're not ready for it and you don't understand energetic exchanges.
Good Lord.
You know what I mean? We talked about manifestation, like energies, all this stuff. This is real. This is like real stuff. And as documentary filmmakers, we're natural empaths. So we are there giving our life to tell someone else's story rather than our own. And so when you do that and you experience, like, I'm not just going, hey, let's schedule a interview at 2:30 on Thursday and I'll be there, like we're doing when we're making content. Okay, it was nice to meet you. Here's a couple questions and okay, we're going to put this into a piece of content or whatever. No, I'm like living long term with these guys. Like I'd be with them for like a week and I'm staying in like the guest bedroom or something. And so we're not just talking on camera, we're talking off camera, and you're just hearing stories and you're being present. And yeah, I was friendly with these guys and we became friends, but I'm the filmmaker and I'm there to experience what they know, what they've gone through, and to capture it. And so when you're doing that day in and day out, and then you're going home and you're living with it another, 10,000 hours of just like scenes on repeat, fast forward and rewind, cutting, like you're just every day, it's in your dreams, it's in your, all day long you're thinking about it. And not to mention when you're on the road and you're, let's say, a courageous filmmaker, I'll call it. Okay. You engage in things that are not exactly the calmest situations. Like even traveling is traumatic at times. Like
I saw a rain in one scene where he was trying to
rain. It's just happening. I'm not going to go into everything that happened, but a lot of like some traumatic stuff happened to me. Not not crazy traumatic, but stuff. You know what I mean? And when you're already kind of stressed and everything, it weighs on you, and you're absorbing all of this trauma from others, from multiple people.
So and how do you handle that?
Them release. Well, I'm going to get to that. So because I want this to be a lesson for anybody who wants to do this, or anybody who's just trying to do something where you are getting support, but people look at you going like, what are they doing? Or they're curious as to what you're doing, and you're not living a normal life like they are. And some people could be worried about you, but few people are really cheering you on like you want them to, or giving you the kind of support that you really need. Luckily, I have a wonderful girlfriend, Sandy.
Yes,
and she, is just a great partner to have, and you need to have people in your life who truly support you for your dreams. And so in 2020, I did like 14 days straight, and I'm talking about shooting all day, traveling, shooting while traveling. I mean, there's footage from the plane, like the stuff like that. Like I'm on the road being a documentary filmmaker with these guys, right? And it was like 14 days, and the bulk of the film, right? It's like the meat of the film when it changes into like the B story.
Okay.
And you're like living in that world. That's all like 14-day
Wow.
experience. And so there were some things that happened in there, like for instance the apartment scene, which is pretty shocking.
Yeah.
I was experienced that as well. I'm not just like salaciously deciding, oh, I'm gonna go into this guy's apartment and see this and show it. Like I was experiencing that, and these guys were both participating with the film. I mean, I knew Ty, I know Angel, you know what I mean, and they're both very charismatic individuals that lended themselves to the project. Like the camera wants to experience their world. Like people want to know these guys,
right,
because of who they are, and it's my job to go with them into their world as long as they let me, and until they say stop, I'm going to keep filming because that's who I am, and that's what I'm there to. There's no other reason for me to be there other than knowing that I'm producing this film. And it's not just about a film about JV, it's about just the community. You know, it's a film about community.
Big time. There's all characters.
Exactly.
All kinds of characters in this documentary.
So after those 14 days, you know, when we shot that memorial where they're at the cemetery, I mean, you're talking about like 5 days of just shooting that. Just shooting here in San Antonio where all the guys were here.
It's a reunion.
Yeah,
right?
because I'm shooting every day. I don't know what's going to go in the film. We're just shooting. You know, we figured that out later. And so at the end of that, I got really snappy and short with people, and I was just like fried. And, you know, I remember I got real snappy with Lara one time, and I was just fried, you know? And I was like, had to take an emergency vacation, and I don't take vacations. Like vacations for me turn into like work trips, you know. Like I whip out the camera for fun, you know what I mean? Like on the trip when I'm like, I'm not shooting anything else. I'm gonna take a break. No, like I take pictures of Sandy, you know, and that's our. You know, that's what we do. We travel around and I shoot cool content stuff for her. You know what I mean? Because I do it at the end of the day. I enjoy it, but when the pressure is on,
it's different.
It adds a whole layer to everything.
Yep.
And so that emergency vacation, it was a dream vacation. I went to like Hot Spring in Colorado. It was like one of my favorite places, and I just like chilled and vegged, and that was the best thing that I could have done. Is like know when to take a break, because I see people who are like what do you call them, workaholics or whatever, and they just keep going, and they don't know when to stop, and they don't know when to take a break. And for me, I was about to lose it, and that happened a few other times, but that was probably the big time where I was just like fried is the only word I can use.
That's a
totally
great way,
and it was tough.
Yeah, no, I've had a couple of those where I wish I would have stopped earlier to take just a second. Just a little break, and then but we have those extreme personalities sometimes where we're gun ho, we're gonna do it, and I don't need a break, and I can do it, and then finally you're just like, rah! And you're like, why didn't I just be normal and take a break? You know?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even like that for me. It's not even it's not me telling myself I don't need a break. It's I can't. Like if I don't keep going, like this event, if I didn't spend every waking hour for like 2 months setting up this event, like leading up to the moment people walked in the door, like still hanging things on the wall and like building props and all those things. Yeah, thank you so much. That was for y'all.
I noticed
that was for y'all.
I appreciate that. Just letting you know, because I know some people don't pay attention. I was like, wow. I could just tell right when I walked in. I was like, this is so well put together.
Well, I care about the experience. Like I want people to come and engage and have a wonderful experience, and too few people are like care about that kind of stuff.
Well, and it's funny that you say that, because you're the documentary like you're a part of the production team. Who would have thought you'd have been a part of coordinating?
I'm a producer. I produce things.
Yeah.
You know
like
what I mean?
You can
I create.
clearly see.
I'm a creator. And I just I'm trying to create an experience. Like you can say that I'm a filmmaker, but that's one of the things that I do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a film is an experience for people. And that's what I want. I want to create things that people can feel. Not necessarily make them feel good, but the film does have everything. It has comedy, it has tragedy. You know, you laugh, you cry, you know, you get relief, you get tension. You know, it just takes you on this journey, and that's what I want. Like I'm not necessarily here for people to I want them to have a great time all the time. Like I want to have fun, and but I also want them to feel all the emotions, because that's what being alive is all about.
How does it feel when people watch a documentary and you're watching the crowd react to all the things? Like, how does that feel when you see them crying or you see them laughing? Or
I love it. Last night, so this movie is a San Antonio movie, obviously. Like we filmed Montana, Los Angeles, Chicago, multiple places in Florida. Where else? I think those were the main places. I'm probably forgetting something, but it's a San Antonio movie. It has that flavor, right? Because that's where we're from. That's where JV's from, and we always wanted to wrap it in that. Like American Sons, like San Antonio is the heart of America. You know, and people, they give that title to like, I don't know, Chicago, like New York, Los Angeles, but San Antonio is the heart. This is la mezcla.
Why do you say San Antonio is the heart?
Because this is the center of trade in the South.
I never seen it that way.
I-10 and I-35. You don't see it.
I don't see it that way
It's
because I'm
going-
from here, so I'm jaded
So,
as fuck.
well, because it doesn't manifest outwardly. And if we want to have that conversation, we might have to have another podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
But because I'll talk openly about that, about why San Antonio hasn't got the same pop as the other city, because I would love to have that conversation.
please.
But just for this
Okay.
story, it is the central hub because I-35, which goes into Canada and Mexico and goes through the United States, runs through San Antonio, and I-10, which runs coast to coast from Los Angeles to Florida and everywhere in between. They meet in San
they're like
Antonio.
that.
Exactly. So you're talking about the center of trade. And if trade comes from internationally, it shows up at a port, probably Houston, and it hits I-10 and it goes throughout the country. Right? And so that's what's happening in San Antonio. And it may not be manifesting into the culture, but it exists and the energy exists here. And that is what's creating that specialness that we wanted to wrap the film in and make sure that people around the world are going to understand that San Antonio culture,
I love it.
the San Antonio sound, you know?
Right.
Like I imagine
love
like that's me, right? People are always like, what's your background? And I've never really fit in with any of that ethnic talk, right? Because I'm a Latino, but I don't speak Spanish. So I kind of
Right.
don't get fully embraced into that community. I have light skin.
You're a güero.
So exactly.
But your last name
I
is
have light
Gonzales.
skin. And it's just, I never really fit in, you know, like the black people call me white, you know, stuff like that. You know what I mean? And so, but I've always been able to hang with everybody.
Yeah.
Like I just kind of like, you know, go into, so what I am, I'm a Texan. I'm a proud Texan. This is where I'm from. And this is where I feel is the mixing of all cultures. You know, all cultures are taking place here. And if we could, you know, take this view off of it that is being portrayed in the media, social media, about everything that's going on negatively in Texas and like what people think about Texas all over the country.
Oh, gosh.
If we can take that one-sided view and see the communities that actually exist and the people that actually exist here and the multiculturalism. I mean, Houston is the most diverse city in the entire world. Look that up. And that's what's happening in Texas. And that's what I want to portray to the rest of the world. And I'm a proud Texan. And we wanted to have the film wrapped in that San Antonio culture.
I love it. And I love what Representative Joaquin Castro said at the beginning of the presentation yesterday. And he was just saying, you know, at a time where Mexicans are, you know, bottled up and boxed and labeled, especially in this country, Mexican Americans, he was like, no, this is a story from a Mexican American who served our country. So that you guys, your perception can now see that this is a normal person. Even like going into their home, I love it. Going into the mom's home, Yolanda and April, and just seeing a Hispanic family around a table who lost a loved one.
Absolutely.
Going through his photos, standing at his
Absolutely.
headstone, like just normalizing that we're not all villains was something that's also important to me. And I was grateful that Joaquin Castro just called it out a little bit
Yeah.
yesterday. So, but yeah, this movie, I think it hits so many different topics, especially like we said, for the veteran community, but and everybody in general can enjoy it and appreciate it. So what's next? Tell me what's next. Oscars, hopefully, but you guys are on a film festival circuit, and then I heard that PBS will be airing this.
Yeah, so there's so much on the horizon.
Okay.
So first and foremost, we have to promote our PBS broadcast.
Okay.
The release, which is January 12th, 2026.
Write
you
that
heard
down.
it here. Okay, this is going to be on national PBS. So
Okay.
if you have access to just terrestrial cable or whatever basic cable is,
I'll find out.
Yeah.
I'll rabbit ear that shit.
exactly. So it won't. It's not only going to be available through broadcasting, but you're also going to be able to stream it via their PBS streaming platform. So
Awesome.
anybody can do that.
Okay.
That's January 12th, 2026, once again. And then we're going to go on our National Impact Strategy campaign, which basically we're going to be serving veteran-centric communities across the country, screening the film, and with partners, bringing veterans out from isolation so that they can engage with each other, with our partners, new relationships can be built, and we can further our message of reconnection as the pathway towards healing.
Gosh, you see, so really it wasn't just about making a documentary. Like, look how much of a ripple effect this one project can have on a community. Like, that's incredible. That's life-changing.
Absolutely. And we're dedicated to the mission. It's really important. Veterans really need our support. And, it's easy to say thank you for your service.
Right.
But to really understand what someone's going through, and I just want to say, like, the people that are trying to help, like, get to know somebody. If somebody served, get to know them, ask them about, what they did in service. Like, where did they serve? Where, they'll tell you and build a relationship. And that's how you can serve more. It's like humanity, like care, especially in these times where people are separated because of social media, like care about another person, be present. I don't know if you've noticed, sometimes when you talk to people, especially like younger generations, they'll talk to you and they'll kind of like look away real quick. Or they'll
they're
not even looking, they'll shake your hand and be like looking in the other direction. It's
It's so
look into
fleeting.
somebody's eyes and be present for just a second. Be there with them. And that's what's really connecting. And so that's what this movie is about.
Yes.
It's a story of humanity. It's a story of connection, and it's a love story. It's not a war story. It's a love story.
Ooh, period. I love that because like you said, I felt very moved by it, but it wasn't your typical war story documentary kind of thing. Like, this is very different. And it has a big purpose and it has like a big calling with it. So I love it. And so anything else? January 12th, you guys.
January 12th, that's right.
American Sons. How can we support you right now?
How can you support? You can go to AmericanSonsFilm.com and you can support us financially. We have a big budget for next year, and we are counting on the support of our partners. So we're looking for a national partner. We're looking for both a national nonprofit partner who wants to join us, but also someone who's willing to power the thing. We're looking for a big corporate sponsor who cares about veterans, who cares about mental health, who cares about the Latino community, and then wants to go with us to serve these communities to make a real impact and real change. And that's who we're seeking right now. So if you're out there and you want to ride with us, the ship is leaving.
Let's go.
And you can jump on if you like. But if you wait too long, we will be sailed out to sea, and we're on the way. So this is happening with or without you, and we would love anyone who cares to join our mission.
I love it, you guys. Follow American Sons on all platforms.
That's right.
Like you said.
Mostly Instagram and Facebook, American Sons Film.
Okay, perfect. And I'm happy to support. Again, I'm so proud of you as a friend, just to see your evolution and how much you guys are growing. And there's nothing more satisfying than seeing your friends' dreams come true. Oh my gosh.
Well, look at it here. The Bean and Chisme
juicy.
show. This is incredible. What you're doing is incredible. You're a natural. Well, I almost want to let that be known for the audience, as we talked about earlier about, you were saying you think people are connecting with you to your authenticity, but you've been doing the work, and that's really what it is. Like people think like, oh, I would love to do that, but I'm not very good. Well, no one is good when you start. It doesn't matter what you're trying to. Some people are just more naturally gifted than others, but you see natural people who don't go anywhere. It's the actual work ethic that you put in.
It's both. Yeah,
you got to have both
together.
And you just got to put in the time and the effort, and you get better over time. Like nobody just becomes amazing overnight.
Oh, how I wish people would see that part of it. But
That's okay.
But you know what? I'm going to do a better job. I'm trying to do a better job on my end of explaining a little bit more about the work that goes into it.
Yeah. So. Well, I think the best thing that you can do, and I know you do this, and I do as well, is helping others to go there as well. People that like younger people.
Sure.
Like that's one thing I wish I would have had when I was younger, is like more people that would show me the way. It took me like a long time to like break into the industry. That's why I'm just independent, because I was like, I'm gonna do this myself. Like this take forever trying to go this other way and be like a minion, like working on some production set 14 hours a day. I'm like, I don't want to do this. It's like nobody respects me. Like,
right.
So just start making it yourself. And that's what it takes, but also mentorship, like finding somebody who's already doing it and like come work underneath them and like, be humble. Like humble yourself, that knowing why you're there is to learn
Yes.
from somebody who's already got there, not to talk about what you already do. Like, well, then do it, do it yourself if that's the case.
You
But,
know?
there's nothing more important than that. So, young, people coming up, find a mentor, and, that's
Work
really
hard,
going
though.
to
Like,
elevate
humble
you.
yourself. Yeah.
Humble yourself,
I
do the dirty work.
I know, and I have tons of people that I've mentored, but it's rare that I find one that sticks because this is a lot of work.
It's easy to give up.
Nice and shiny, I promise you.
Yeah.
But 99.9% of our interns that come in, they either quit or I don't know how many times a tire has been flat or grandma has died. It's just different. And so finding those, like you said, the ones that connect, oh gosh, they go so far, and it's amazing to help.
Well,
But
the financial compensation doesn't come right away.
Oh, no,
And so most people
no.
can't outlast it. Like, you have to outlast the pain of like not being paid right away, working other jobs to support this thing because you believe in yourself. You know what I mean? You have to believe in yourself. And I'll just tell you right now, it takes 10 years to become an overnight success.
Thank you.
So you have to be ready and willing to spend that time, 20 years sometimes. Like,
Yep.
it's the body of work that you're doing. It's not the one hit that you had. Like, even with this project, this project can have so much impact. But, I'm not running around flashing, buying things like, I'm still living. I'm not even living the normal life like other people. You know what I
Because
mean?
you still have other projects you got to do.
There's so
right?
much to do,
Right.
and it's about that body work. It's about the long game. Like, what are you in it for? Are you in
right.
it to like just pop off and like, I don't know, be famous or be like, what are you doing it for? And if you really care about the craft, about the industry, about having fun doing something that you love and doing meaningful, intentional work, then that should be the thing you need to power you through those tough times. It's like being focused on what you're doing it for.
Yeah.
If you're just doing it for yourself, you have to have a bigger calling, and I'm very much grateful for where I am right now. I'm so grateful. And I think having that gratitude is what helped me, like, it helped make it happen. I think that's the secret ingredient. I believe that.
We could go on, but gratitude is definitely one of the key components of all of this magic that happens. Well, thank you so much again, Andrew. And I commend you and the entire team, Laura, Fernando, April, your whole family. My condolences on JV, and the bravery that it takes as a family to put it all out there is also a whole other thing. But I
Yes.
commend everybody, and I just congratulate. Any way we could support, we're going to do it here at the Bean and Chisme Show, and the fam that we have, our fan base is heavy veteran, heavy Latino community. So we're all about familia and backing each other up. Follow American Sons. And again, this is the end of the episode, but also follow Circle of
Arms, I think.
Yeah, okay, I said it wrong. Follow American Sons, follow Circle of Arms, and definitely support our veteran community. And if you are a veteran and you need support, please follow us because we will be posting lots of mental health resources all of the time. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Bean and Chisme Show. If you or anybody you know would like to see more episodes like this, please reach out, you guys. Bean and Chisme is a platform for comedy, community, and culture. And we want to have more conversations just like this. So it doesn't just have to be a one-time episode on veterans and mental health. I want this to happen all the time. And we can't do it without your support. So thank you so much and have a great day. Peace.